Welcome to another Wisdom podcast. Today we have Cynthia Zhai with us. She is CSP, a voice coach, and a TEDx speaker, also an author. We're going to talk about the voice power or the power of voice, influence, leadership, keynote speaking today. So it's going to be a fun one. This podcast is presented to you by podbear.com. That's my podcasting company. If you want to start, scale, be invited to a podcast like this one and do podcasting while earning some great money, go to podbear.com. Cynthia, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Sure. Thank you, Charles. I'm very happy to be here. I am, as you have introduced, I'm a voice coach. I'm a professional speaker. I help people to develop a powerful voice when they're speaking so that they can be heard whenever they're speaking, whoever they're speaking to.
Why is voice so important?
Yeah, because a lot of my clients, they came to me, they said, in meetings, whenever I say something that no one either noticed or it just falls flat, but someone else said the exact same thing, but they were given the applause, they were given the credit. So then they realize, oh, it must be that the way I use my voice is not powerful enough, which is true. So this is one of the very common problems that my clients have. Then you realize how important voice is, because you can have brilliant ideas, but if your voice falls flat, then the impact is not there. You're not going to be heard. You're not being recognized.
Interesting. I'm reading on your website here, tight throat, soft voice, nasal, high pitched, that make you sound angry, speak too fast. What does my voice tell to you?
Okay, do you want to have honest feedback? So your voice is pleasant, but the initial impression I have is that there can be a little bit more energy.
I'm low energy now. So it's no coincidence. I had like 20 podcasts today, and yeah. I've also got that feedback before. Some people were saying I've looked disinterested. Maybe, yeah, it's the scale of the project that I'm attempting here, which is like so many podcasts per day. I also thought that sometimes taking more of my time would make my guests feel more at ease. And if they're at ease, they can share more and I can win their trust and I can ask questions that normally they wouldn't answer a stranger to.
Uh, yes.
On your side, Cynthia, like what do you do on a daily basis, like voice coaching? Like who do you target with these services? What do people pay you for? What are some case studies that you can give us?
So the people who came to me for support are mainly two groups. One is that the C-suite. So the C-suite, they have gone through all kinds of training programs on leadership, but they have never gone through something on voice. And so most of them, or no, almost all of them, they will tell me, they said, oh, Cynthia, I'm not someone who is lacking confidence. I said, of course. So they want to go to the next level. And so they're already good, but they want to go to the next level to make them, the way they speak, more influential. So that's one group of people that I support with. The other group, they are people who need to speak or present. So not only just for presentation, the voice, but also on a day-to-day basis, like the example we used just now, the meetings. So a lot of my clients, they notice their voice problems in meetings. So those are the two groups of people that I support. Case studies, for example, let's take one case from each of the group, like the C-suite. So one client, he came to me, he's the CEO, he came to me, CEO of a big company, and they just acquired another company, then they became global, international. So his voice, when I heard his voice, as a CEO, I said, you sound too casual. So of course, that there are times you need to sound casual, but when it's serious business, you cannot sound casual. In the board, if you're presenting to the board, you cannot be casual. So there are situations you can be casual. There are situations you do want to sound with more gravitas. So one of the key things that we worked on for his voice is to develop the gravitas as the leader, as the CEO that he needs. So that's one example. The other one, the second group. So for people who came to me because that in meetings they were not heard, or they said something, it just landed flat. So that affects their confidence. So for one client, it was even insecurity of his job. So when he came to me, he was feeling very insecure about his job, and this insecurity also was extended to his family life. So I could see that the way he was looking was also depressed, not clinically depressed, but in a very low state. So as we started to work on his voice, became more confident. And one day he said, "Oh, today I had a presentation delivered to my boss's boss together with my boss. After the presentation, my boss said, 'You did well. In the future, all the presentations will be done by you.'" So then he said, "Oh, now I became the go-to person for the presentation." I said, "Now you became the asset of your department." So when we finished working together, he was asking me, he said, "Oh, Cynthia, what change did you see?" I said, "Besides voice, the most important thing I saw in you is that you become happier." So that's another example.
Right. And there's people that have great voices, but it's more than voice, it's the presence and the body language, I guess. They really embody their ideas and they really spread that energy the way that they want to. For example, Barack Obama comes to mind. How did Barack get there other than like sheer training and modeling great speakers that he has heard before?
Mhm. I think one of the keys is the way he speaks. So a lot of my clients worldwide, uh, whenever I ask them, whose voice do you like? Of course, number one is Morgan Freeman. And number two, most of the times, is Obama's voice. So I think his voice, now we're not going to involve any politics here, only talk about the voice. So the voice itself, it sounds, the so-called sounds very leadership-like. So how do we define a leadership voice? So when it's very leadership-like, the voice has gravitas, the voice has depth. The other one is the voice has certainty. So those are the two key elements in his voice that made his voice stand out.
What do you mean by gravitas specifically? Like intonation or that they really mean what they're speaking?
So gravitas, to a lot of my clients, it means that the the bass, the bass sound. So the bass sound of the voice. Like for example, the reason they like Obama's voice or Morgan Freeman's voice is because the voice has depth. So that's what we mean by gravitas. So this is the quality a lot of my clients, they want to develop.
So the depth, how do you develop a depth in your voice? If I'm your client, what would we be working on? What exercises would we be practicing together?
So I will talk about the mistake first, because a lot of my clients, they came to me before that, they were using the wrong way. So the wrong way is that they will purposely lower their voice so that they have a deep voice. And then one client, I asked him, I said, how long did you last? He said 10 to 15 minutes. I said, that's already very long. So that's the wrong way of projection. Unfortunately, that's been done. The mistake has been done by so many people. So the proper way to develop the depth in the voice is that we want to use more of the cavities in the body to generate sound. So that's how we develop, which is to utilize the cavities in the body to generate more sound, more voice, more resonance.
So how can I use my cavities more?
Okay, so we usually go through 3 steps, because in order to use the cavities, the body must be relaxed. Relaxation, a lot of my clients, after working on their voice, they realize, oh, how important relaxation is. So one is before the 3 steps, or even throughout the 3 steps, relaxation is very important. So body needs to be relaxed. And then the first step is proper breathing. So most people are not breathing properly. When they're not breathing properly, you wouldn't be able to open up the cavity in the body. So when the voice is not using the cavity in the body, this is how it sounds like, right? You hear the difference. So of course, in my classes, they'll be saying, oh, Cynthia, is there a switch? There's no switch. So you can develop, and once you've developed, you will need to make it a habit. So that's the first step, proper breathing. Make proper breathing a habit. So the proper breathing is when you breathe in, you will see the abdomen area comes out. When you breathe out, you will see the abdomen area goes in. So that's the proper breathing. Most people are doing the exact opposite. So that's the first step. The second step is activation. So we will need to activate the body, activate the cavity in the body. So that's the second step. And the third step, once you activate it, once you're breathing properly, then you can generate more resonance. So that's the 3 steps. And you will notice that these 3 steps, they make an acronym, which is BARP, breathing, activation, and resonance.
Right. Seems that my posture might not be the best when I'm working. You know, I often find myself like I need to breathe a bigger breath. Especially when the pod, I'm also someone that speaks a lot on a daily basis, and that it's been that way forever. Before it was with sales calls, now it's with podcasts. So what do you have to say with the proper sitting posture once you're at work, you know, because it's not everyone that stands up in presentations. A bunch of presentations, they're done behind a computer screen and webinars. So what tip would you have for me in terms of posture and breathing there?
Yes. So of course, the posture, the best would be that you sit upright. But what's also more important, what's even more important is that the channel on your throat. So if you're doing like, try to use your chin. So most people that the chin is almost touching the chest, then this channel is not flowing, it's blocked. So that's why that's even more important. So we want to make sure that the neck area is not blocked. That's the posture. And the other thing is, we mentioned already, relax. Yeah. So even if you're not sitting upright, but you want to make sure that your body is relaxed. Yeah. So I would say number one is about the throat, the neck area. Number two is sitting upright in terms of importance.
Right. And just like general consciousness of me
Yes.
when I speak, like in podcasting and looking at myself from a third person. Oh, how's my posture? How's my throat and everything? I don't tend to think of these things. So yeah, I guess it's quite important. Usually if we would start together and you would coach me, what kind of exercise would you send me at home to practice to, yeah, have a better voice, let's say in the first week?
Okay. So usually we mention that the bar model, breathing, activation and resonance. So each step will take about 2 months to make it a habit. So in these 2 months, every 2 weeks, you will be progressing into different steps of the exercises. For example, even just breathing. A lot of people will be saying that, oh, I've done yoga, I can breathe. Yes, some of my clients, they're even yoga teachers. But what's surprising was that even for yoga teachers, proper breathing is not a habit. So it's not that you can do the proper breathing is a habit automatically. No, so you need to do systematic practice. So for breathing, we have 3 steps to make it into a habit. And every 2 weeks, you'll be practicing 1 step. So for example, for the first 2 weeks, you'll be practicing the breathing exercise. And after 2 weeks, if you're progressing well, we move on to the next breathing exercise. So that's how we do the practices. That's why sometimes the practice can be, to some people, can be boring. They will say, oh, the 2 weeks I'm practicing this exercise. But when you think about it, sometimes I feel like you're practicing martial arts. So sometimes you practice martial arts, you just practice one move, let alone practicing one move for 2 weeks. Some of the martial arts, you practice one move for a whole year. But unfortunately, in today's world, people want instant gratification. So they may not want to spend the patience. But it is those who have patience, they will get the result. So I like the saying that infinite patience gets immediate result.
Love that. Great wisdom right there. As a voice coach, what are your top 3 goals for this year?
One is I want to continue to speak internationally. So last year I was speaking in 2 new different countries. So that made the countries that I've spoken in into 23. So this year I'm hoping to speak at least in 2 new countries. And then number 2 is I'm working on 2 books at the same time. So one book is 70% manuscript done. So that's you can say it's 2 goals, working on 2 books at the same time. But there is a third one. The third one is I want to develop a new program, which is still voice related, but it is a new program. So that's my 3 goals.
Where can people find out more about you online, Cynthia?
So they can find me in 3 different places. One is my LinkedIn. So they can just go to LinkedIn, search Cynthia Voice Coach. They should be able to find me. I'm quite active on almost all social media. The second place is my YouTube channel. So on my YouTube channel, I have more than 260 videos with 47,000 subscribers. So if they want to know more about voice and how voice works, how voice will help them, they can go there more. YouTube, also search Cynthia Voice Coach. The third one, of course, is my website. So it's powerfulexecutivevoice.com.